Alright guys, this is my new video blog. I'm trying to remember today's date. It is now July 4th. It is 3:35 in the morning, 2015. And I don't remember what the video blog number is, and I'll just put it down in the description anyways. So guys, what's been going on? Well, as everybody has seen, gay marriage is legal, finally. Hallelujah! Praise the goddess. We finally have some equality when it comes to marriage. Sad news on my part, my original beret was stolen over at a, Home Depot, and the little schmucks that took it walked out the doors, so I had to replace it. Now, I looked around trying to find something cool, and eventually I settled on this, because I've got a couple other berets that I bought in an attempt to get it where I was going, and they didn't exactly work. But, I settled on two different things. Excuse me. Alright guys. First of all, the one I'm wearing, I think it's cute. Now, the other one is this one. And as of, in a few weeks, I will have a really cool one, and I'll maybe do another video blog and show it off. Alright, so my thoughts. The universe is a huge place, and it's difficult dealing with the world. Something I've been dealing with lately, and this is just something I believe in, is owning your words and actions. A lot of people don't seem to understand this concept. Basically what it means is you take responsibility for the things you do. If you do something wrong to another, you make it right. If you say something wrong to another, you find a way to apologize. If you destroy something of somebody's, by accident, of course, you apologize and then try to replace it. It's basically that simple. I think life would be a whole lot simpler if people actually lived by this kind of ideal, because it would make people take responsibility for their actions. They'd no longer say, well, it isn't my fault. Well, just because it isn't your fault doesn't mean that you can't do something to fix whatever happened. And that's just me being serious about it. It's something I really feel strongly about, and it's been something that it's been building up for months. Because I've just seen people, and I mean even myself, I tried to be like, oh, woe is me, the universe hates me, whatever. Well, I mean, my philosophy has always been try to make tomorrow a better day, and I'm going to try to do that. But, I mean, you have to own your actions, own your words. And if you can do that, then things will actually get better eventually. Alright, words of advice for the trans community. As I've always said, be careful out there. The violence is mounting against trans people, and with this decision that was made in the courts that allowed for gays and lesbians to marry, the next step is LGBTQ, etc., rights. Anti-discrimination laws, and all kinds of other things to protect us. Now, the problem is, I think because of this victory that we've seen with marriage equality, a lot of gays and lesbians are going to be putting the whole idea of equality to bed, because they think, oh, now we're equal, we can marry, and stuff like that. Problem is, that hasn't dealt with the situation. That's all that said is it's legal for all of us to marry. Because, I mean, I'm a trans woman and I'm a lesbian. And that at least gives me something that I can deal with, eventually. But it still doesn't deal with the problem of discrimination. Discrimination is out there, and there's nothing we can do about it right now. Like Ohio, at least for trans women, our only right, really, except for the ones that like municipalities pass for anti-discrimination, is we can have our gender marker and name changed on our driver's license. Our birth certificate, they won't touch. There's multiple other states out there that will do it, but Ohio is definitely not one of them. Ohio is not a gay-friendly state, regardless of what people say, and I mean gay and lesbian, and definitely not a hospitable place for trans people. So, I mean, if you're thinking about moving into Ohio due to a job or something, just think about this, and I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying understand that you are going to be dealing with all kinds of awful people that can make your life worse. So just be prepared. It's a word of caution. It's not telling you not to do anything. It's not telling you not to live your life. It's telling you just be aware of what you're walking into so you can be prepared for it. Let's see. Well, we've got the Aaliyah Alcorn thing, where this trans woman, a girl for the most part, threw herself in front of a vehicle to protest, well, I mean, the fact that her life sucked. Her parents were treating her like crap and trying to do the whole idea of conversion therapy and all kinds of other awful things. And what it's done is it's brought to light all the awful things that happen to trans people, that can happen to trans people out there. I mean, there's been multiple murders of trans women. Trans women of color are still not safe. And I'm not talking about black. I'm talking about trans women that are Asian, that are Hispanic, Latino, whatever, black, you name it, we're not safe. And life is not easy for us. One thing that, I mean, a lot of people don't understand is a lot of people don't even view us as human. And that's a big problem, because all we want is to live our lives and to be happy and to pursue a fruitful life and to have families and to have spouses eventually and to just enjoy our life. We're not looking to make other people's lives hard. All we want is people accept us for who we are. Don't misgender us. That's not trampling on your religious liberty, which is something I'm going to get to in a minute. And just let us be happy. Let us live free. Okay, things coming up with religious liberty. This is something that I've been boiling over to deal with. It's this whole concept of everybody has a right to religion. The problem is, when the Founding Fathers founded America, America was founded under the concept of, well, basically, you're either Christian or Jewish. That's it. There was really no other options at the time. And because of that, everybody has been under the misguided view that this is a Christian country. And it is not. This is a Christian. This is a Jewish. This is a Muslim. This is a pagan. This is a Hindu. This is a Buddhist country. I mean, there's like multiple other religions out there. And what people don't get is all of us have a right to pursue our religious liberty, as they call it. But where that screws up is the whole idea that your religious liberty supersedes everybody else's. And generally, you don't see that out of Jews. I was born Jewish, so it's not a big deal. But I am a practicing pagan. You generally don't see it out of Muslims. I mean, in the Middle East you will, but that's just the way it is out there. You don't see it out of pagans. You don't see it out of Buddhists, you don't see it out of all these other religions, but you do see it out of Christianity. And the problem is Christianity just doesn't get the whole fact that, and it's not all Christians, and I'm not blaming all Christians. It's these fundamentalist, ultra-conservatives out there that believe that their way is the only way to live. And it's just not true. There's a whole lot of different philosophies on how life is supposed to be. And, I mean, in my opinion, everybody deserves a right to be happy. Everybody deserves a right to pursue their own religious freedom. And the problem is now with all these, with the Religious Freedom Restoration Act is something that's been passed around a bunch of states. It says that they can use the excuse of their religion to refuse to service gays, lesbians, trans, genderqueer, potentially black, potentially Arabic, potentially Chinese, potentially pagan, basically anyone that they decide offends their religious sensibilities. And that's just not right. That's not what this country was founded on. This country was founded on the whole belief that everybody is innately free, that we all had the right to freedom and to pursue life and liberty in the pursuit of happiness. And that's not what's happening anymore. What's happening is these wackos have gotten government and they're trying to mess things up. And, I mean, it's making life hard. So, I mean, for those of us that are part of the LGBTQ whatever community, and I'm not, that whatever is not an insult to everybody else, there is so many additional letters that have been added to it over time that there's just so many. For those of us that are part of this huge umbrella, all of this stuff endangers our liberty. So my word is, if you're part of the LGBT, etc. community, you need to stand up for your rights. Don't let people trample your rights. Every time you allow someone to do this, you are making it harder on the next one of us that has to stumble in and deal with it. And I say stumble because it is a minefield of awful crap that we have to deal with. Trying to think. There's a lot of subject matters that I was going to deal with. Okay, another thing. I'm switching subjects. This goes into the transgender area. So, I've had a lot of people contact me that are cross-dressers. And they've asked questions and stuff. And a lot of them contact me about how do you get on hormones and how do you deal with transition and all that. But the thing is I always ask the question. And the question is simple. Are you doing this for sexual gratification? Meaning, when you dress, do you get a turn on from it, and do you masturbate or whatever to get off? Or do you feel at home within the clothing of the other gender, whether you're male to female or female to male or whatever? So drag queen, drag king, whatever. And the thing is a lot of them I'm running into are basically saying that it's a thrill and they're enjoying it, and they're like, well, I'm transgender, and I'm like, no, you're not. If you're simply there for the sexual thrill and then you go back to your vanilla job and vanilla life, you are not transgender. You are what's called a fetishist. And a fetishist, it's really simple. A fetish is something like BDSM, cross-dressing, peeing on another person. Oh my God, there are so many fetishes, it's not even funny. But a fetishist, they do their thing and then they go back to their normal lives. They're not transgender. The whole transgender, and it's this huge fucking umbrella that I mean has had so many things added to it, which makes it really difficult for people to really understand what's going on. Like, a transsexual really comes down to a person that was either born female or male, sex-wise, as in their body parts, but their brain was wired in the opposing gender. So, person was born with male parts, but their brain was wired female, or the person was born with female parts and their brain was wired male. And the whole point of transition for us is to right where that whole screw up happens, because our brain chemistry just is, we are either female or male internally, as in our gender, and all we're trying to do is right nature's mistake. People that are fetishists are not trying to do that. They're in it for a thrill. And I'm talking about cross-dressers. And this is not an insult to you if you're a cross-dresser. This is simply a fact. You don't have to deal with gender dysphoria. You don't look into the mirror almost every day and cry. You don't look into the mirror or look down and see sexual and sexual characteristics, organs, secondary characteristics, and want to mutilate yourself. And because of this, it's hard. Gender dysphoria doesn't go away. I know a lot of trans women that are out there that have gone through the surgery, and even then, the dysphoria does not go away. So gunning for that surgery isn't going to solve everything for the people that are trans. If you're a fetishist, just admit that you're a fetishist. Just say, it's my kink, I enjoy it, and let me have it. But please stop, and I'm being emphatic, please stop saying that you're part of the transgender community. You're not. You're a fetishist. You enjoy dressing up in the opposing gender's clothing. That's what you enjoy. That's the way it is. Don't be angry at me. Just call it what it is. Call a spade and move forward. The problem with fetishists is there are so many fetishists out there that feel guilty about what they're doing that they're literally causing confusion with the general public when it comes to legitimately transgender people. And I mean people that have gender dysphoria in various degrees of disidentification with the gender that the sex that they were born. So, like I said, call a spade, admit that you're a fetishist, and move on. But please stop declaring that you're transgender. It's not helping your case. It's not helping any of us that are actually trans. All it is making life much more difficult for all of us. And is making acceptance in society so much more difficult for all of us that you need to stop this. I'm a nice woman, and I'm not going to get in your face about it, but this is something that needs to be dealt with. And needs to be dealt with soon, because society is finally starting to see transgender people for who we really are. And all these people that are fetishists are doing is muddying the water. Okay. I'm engaged. Alright, we're switching gears. I'm engaged to be at least religiously married to my partner, Lisa. Last year she proposed to me and I said yes. And we're working through personal differences, and we're hoping to be married by a priest or priestess next year. I'm happy with it. I look forward to the rest of my life with her. And my son loves her. She's wonderful. She has problems. I have problems. Everybody has problems. We try to work them out. A relationship isn't like dishwater. I mean, when it gets muddy, just because it gets muddy, wow, that was my phone. Just because the dishwater gets muddy, you don't throw it out. And just because things get complicated in a relationship, you don't throw it out. Don't just go running away from it. Confront whatever the problems are and try to deal with them and move forward. And if you can't reconcile the differences, then the relationship was never meant to work. But if you can reconcile the differences, then please move forward. If you have love for each other, move forward and work things out and have a happy life. That's all I'm asking. What else is going on? Business is getting a little bit better. It's not been great. The theft really hurt me last year. Can't really go into a whole lot of details, but I know who did it, and I've been going out of my way to make them miserable. So, yeah, that's just the way life is. Can't really do anything about it, but I can make them miserable as shit. As I said before, my mother knows about my transition. She's not accepting of it. She dead names me on a daily basis, almost every other sentence, and it's not fun. And those of you that are trans, you're going to deal with it. And if you're living in a difficult situation, just grin and bear it, and realize that you will eventually get out of that situation. But if you've got children, do not endanger your living situation just because of your pride. Just grit your teeth and deal with it until you can get out and be safe. If you know that somebody in your environment is a homophobe or a transphobe, please be careful and don't out yourself by accident, and work with your partner to make certain that they don't accidentally out you, because one thing that can happen in arguments is things can get flared, and if your family doesn't know your chosen name, if you're trans, whether you're a trans man or a trans woman, that can out you right there. So shouting matches can get really ugly, and it's something that you just need to be careful of. Past that, we're up to 22 minutes, and that's all I can really think of right now. It is July 4th, 2015, and I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a wonderful holiday, and I will try to get back to you sooner and give you guys another video. But you've gotten to hear my opinion on a lot of things, and that's the way it is. So have a wonderful holiday, and I will get back to you in maybe a month or so. Maybe sooner. It all depends on when I get in the mood. Alright, take care, love and life, and may the goddess watch over you.